I would like to speak briefly about affective aspects of leadership, such as social power and related leadership constructs. French and Raven originally offered 5 types of social power, going on to add information power as the 6th facet a few years later. Legitimate power is that awarded to a leader because they have the right to expect performance from workers. Coercive power engenders fear of punishment. Reward is a more positive power, but is still somewhat manipulative as it ignores the need to rely on intrinsic motivation. Expert power is the result of having specialized knowledge and skills. Finally, referent power is generally earned in that leaders gain respect based on the ways they interact with their subordinates. 4 of the social power bases are positional in nature. The power resulting from position is generally a temporary source of power. After all, positions come and go. In each of these power bases, it is the position, and not the person, that owns the power. Informational power comes from having knowledge and therefore the option to share, withhold, and even distort it. It can help or harm. Legitimate power comes from the title or a role and is part of a hierarchy which is probably temporal in nature. Coercive power is one of the easiest to abuse. Threats and other negative consequences can easily backfire on a leader, and it tends to poison the culture. Reward power is not always sugar and spice. Overuse actually weakens power bases. Each of these should be used positively. The organizational atmosphere will suffer when power becomes a weapon in the unscrupulous leader's hands. The personal power bases, referent and expert power, work together to create an environment where power is a sustainable resource and abuse of it is virtually non-existent. Expertise lends power that can elevate a person into leadership, creating the opportunity to learn even more. Referent power is defined by the likable leader's ability to encourage others and thus hold influence. Integrity and principle should govern the use of personal power. Leadership through social power is essentially an affective motivational process. As former President Ronald Reagan said, the greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. He or she is the one that gets people to do the greatest things. Some methods great leaders use are to inspire organizational commitment. Great leaders create an environment that begs people to take part in the organizational culture. Subordinates are more motivated when leaders leverage social power in positive ways, like sharing information, expertise, and encouraging all to feel part of something bigger. Subordinates are more likely to respond to the use of the soft powers, expert, referent, and informational power. Wise leaders will avoid the temptation to use micromanaging strategies which stifle worker satisfaction. To apply social power to the real world, most of the power base in my district is held by legitimate stakeholders by virtue of their positions, administrators, superintendents, and principals. School systems by nature are extremely hierarchical, and very few titles are needed beyond the administrative. Teaching is a flat profession. Nobody will discover a teacher and propel him or her into a recognized position of leadership, and there are no promotions by merit. Informational power is an interesting commodity within a school system. Those who know before others know are highly regarded. One's rank within the order determines how much privileged information is leaked to him. There's also the coercive threat. Mess up badly enough and you could lose your job. Even with the removal of tenure as a seniority factor, it takes a lot of evidence to dismiss a teacher. The last power evident in my system is referent. Popular and well-liked individuals get perks and favors unknown to or withheld from others outside the inner circle. Notice that reward and expert power are not of high utility in a school system. For instance, the paycheck is the reward. It seems paradoxical that the power of expertise is not highly regarded in an educational agency, but it is not, at least not in mine. I don't publicize my degrees or certifications with coworkers. The culture just doesn't support it. And many of us could do so much more to support our organization beyond our jobs, but task assignments beyond teaching goes outside the protocols of the system. Another social phenomenon in leadership involves the alpha dog concept. People naturally are drawn toward an alpha leader. Nobody has to tell them who it is, they know. An effective alpha leader rises up as a group authority figure, and by virtue of positivity and effectiveness, the alpha leader gains influence. The justifiable alpha leader possesses emotional intelligence and knows how to interact with people, respecting their feelings and diversity. Their work ethic is impeccable and their career path is perfectly synchronized with organizational goals. This person exemplifies integrity and is not afraid to live personal truths. The alpha leader is fully able to admit fault when wrong and makes amends. Like most life constructs, alpha leaders can be categorized. The commander represents a dominant leader who expects a lot. The catch is that a commander can stifle people and create an atmosphere of fear. The visionary leader makes work exciting. Their enthusiasm and passion is contagious, but one downfall is that they tend to lose sight of the here and now. The strategist has no problem in making decisions, even risky and innovative ones. They're very analytical, but the possible pitfall is that they refuse to make decisions without hard data. And last but not least, the executor is the one who delivers the goods. Very detail oriented and geared to solve problems, their leadership moves organizations forward. However, this alpha leader overdoses on micromanagement and tends to make too many demands. As long as an alpha dog within an organization keeps the negative tendencies in check, they bring many strengths to the table. They are consistent, have great communication skills, tend to focus outward versus being self-serving. Their leadership energizes the organizational culture and other potential leaders, and the focus is always on the greater good. But if the dark side gains control, the alpha leader may snap into the power-mongering mode, looking to serve only their own interest. And in extreme cases, their leadership can turn toxic. They can epitomize the old business axiom, I don't get ulcers, I give them. Whether a leader uses social power or alpha dog leadership tendencies, it is ultra important to stay focused on positive uses of power and to maintain balance. Thank you so much for your kind attention. If further information on these topics is desired, here are the major sources I use to support my presentation.